Hello, we're the PNC Newsgirls, Mia
And Maya, reading the news 6 days a week because you're too lazy.
Wednesday, August 16th, 2023.
Okay. All propaganda must be presented in a popular form and must fix its intellectual level so as not to be above the heads of the least intellectual of those at whom it is directed. Thus, the larger the public to which its appeal is directed, the lower its purely intellectual level will have to be. Adolf Hitler. I don't know why, but I said intellectual way too much. It just made me start tripping on intellectual.
It's like when you say a word too many times, it stops sounding like a word.
But it literally only took me
like burglary.
It literally took me 2 times of saying it to be like, this doesn't even sound like a word.
Alright, quick column. Hundreds flock to Bank of Ireland after tech glitch has ATMs spewing up to 1K in extra cash. However, the glitch in the system isn't the free cash grab some customers believed it to be. Bank of Ireland warned customers withdrawing and transferring funds that exceeded the amount of cash in their accounts that they would have to pay the money back.
Well,
basically, you don't just get free money.
Yeah. Okay. Diane Feinstein?
I think
Feinstein?
Yeah, Diana Feinstein.
Diane Feinstein. 90, accuses trustees of her late husband's estate of financial abuse by denying her funds as she calls for them to be suspended. Feinstein gave her daughter power of attorney on July 23rd to allow Catherine Feinstein to act as her representative in litigation matters, according to the suit.
Wall Street mega banks and their disgraceful bailout charts since the repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act in 1999.
Remember, that's all in caps lock.
Yeah, all in caps lock. The Bill Clinton administration's repeal in 1999 of the 1933 Banking Act, commonly known as the Glass-Steagall Act, ushered in the greatest kleptocracy America has ever known. The Cambridge Dictionary defines kleptocracy as a society whose leaders make themselves rich and powerful by stealing from the rest of the people. That sounds really relatable for some reason. I wonder why. In fact, the actual goal of the repealing Glass-Steagall was to do just that. Basically give the government more money because they definitely 100% deserve that. I'm not lying.
Completely random thing that has nothing to do with the story you just read. Have you heard of the Hitler piercing?
No.
It's a piercing you can get like above the top of your lip. That's like a little black circle to look like you have the Hitler stash.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
I only heard of it recently, so fair. Okay. Exclusive. Non-partisan voter registration org. It's actually a Dem get out the vote machine, report says. That made no sense for some reason. A group presenting itself as a non-partisan voter registration. I'm dying. Okay. Organization worked to help Democrats win elections in 2020, according to a new report by conservative watchdog group Capital Research Center (CRC). Exclusively obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation.
Alright, pull column. German populist politician brutally beaten in an alleged migrant attack. Police have launched an investigation after the candidate for the Alternative for Germany party was allegedly attacked by a group of migrants while he was on his way to a campaign event.
Okay.
He got jumped.
Yeah. The arbitrary ban on gun possession by drug users invites wildly uneven enforcement. In a 2021 survey, 15% of American adults admitted using illegal drugs, mostly marijuana, in the previous month. Other surveys suggest that something like 12 million of those drug users owned guns, making them guilty of a federal felony that is currently punishable by up to 15 years in prison. Yet fewer than 150 Americans are prosecuted for that crime each year.
I completely spaced out what you're reading.
Nice.
Massachusetts couple denied for foster care eligibility because they're believing Catholics.
Right.
The Massachusetts Department of Children and Families is a state agency responsible to the state legislature, which I assume includes a number of believing Catholics. Are they going to call in officials from the department to question them on their evident policy of religious bigotry?
So they're not letting them foster somebody because they're Catholic.
Yes.
Freedom of religion is a thing. Okay. Top FBI official involved in Russiagate investigation pleads guilty to conspiracy to aid Russian
Oligarch.
Charles McGonigal, a former special agent in chief of counterintelligence at the FBI's New York field office, pled guilty to money laundering and conspiring to violate the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, in connection to services provided to Oleg Deripaska, a sanctioned Russian, how do you say this?
Oligarch.
According to the release issued Tuesday. McGonigal was a key player in spearheading the Crossfire Hurricane probe, informally referred to as Russiagate in 2016, which was the investigation into the Trump campaign's alleged ties to Russia, the New York Post reported. That was too big of a text box, my brain was starting to die.
Fair. When all crimes are those against the state, but when governments that are already habitually overreaching appear to be going mad, it's a good idea to step back and calmly examine whether there might not be a method in the madness. On the surface, quite a few governments, most notably first-world governments, have been passing a plethora of laws which there is no victim, but for which the government is the recipient of damages.
This is not an emergency. Documents uncovered in a civil rights lawsuit show Florida prison officials and medical staff allowed in
Incarcerated
man's prostate cancer to spread untreated until he was left paralyzed, terminally ill, and afflicted with infected bed sores that rotted to the bone. When he wrote desperate pleas for help, one official concluded, "This is not an emergency."
Furious furries fight back after busting man filming them on beach. The altercation reportedly broke out at Huntington Beach on Saturday, according to a video posted on Twitter. In the 17-second long clip posted by @DogandReal, a man is seen filming a group of cartoonish animal costumes who were gathered as part of a Sunset Beach bonfire fur meet, pointing his phone at one member in particular, who in turn warned the intruder to leave. Soon, the outsider, sporting a gray cap, black t-shirt, and blue jeans, holds his phone right up to the face of a furry in a black wolf costume. I mean, technically, you can't actually see the people. You can't actually see the furries. You see their fursuits.
Exactly. So they're not being outed.
Technically. You can't tell.
Yeah. Also, it said Twitter. Don't you mean X, formerly known as Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you mean X?
Don't you mean X?
I'm okay, call them.
Okay. Zimbabwe police arrest 40 opposition members as vote nears. Police in Zimbabwe said they arrested 40 members of the leading opposition party for blocking traffic and disrupting order during a campaign event on Tuesday, a week ahead of national elections.
Nigerians call for mass recruitment of volunteers as the junta faces possible regional invasion. Residents in the capital, Niamey, are calling for the mass recruitment of volunteers to assist the army in the face of a growing threat by the West African regional bloc ECOWAS, which says it will use military force if the junta doesn't reinstate deposed.
What's
My
happened?
brain is dying.
Where?
Deposed President Mohamed Bazoum, I don't know. ECOWAS has activated a standby force to restore order in Niger after the junta ignored a deadline to release and reinstate Bazoum.
Oprah Winfrey beclowns herself on Maui. What does beclown mean?
I'm not entirely sure.
Did she turn herself into a clown?
Also, I thought it was Winfrey, not Winfrey.
I don't know.
That was Winfrey. But I might be wrong.
Oprah owns 2,000 acres on Maui, several houses, and an airplane hangar. Her act of passing out diapers from Costco pail. What is happening? Her act of passing out diapers from Costco pails next to what she has at her discretion. She has said she will make a financial donation, but her reputation is already tarnished. Some suspect beyond repair. That made no sense. Continuing.
Mother of Virginia boy 6, who bragged about shooting his first grade teacher in the chest, pleads guilty to child neglect and faces 6 months in jail. Why only 6 months? Only.
How bad was she neglecting him?
Deja Taylor, 25, avoided misdemeanor gun charges after striking a plea deal 7 months after her trial blasted 26-year-old Abby Schwerner at Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia.
Alright then.
We're gonna go.
Argentina's election hopeful as has Torah roots wants to move embassy to Jerusalem. During an interview with Radio Jai, that just sounds wrong, a prominent Jewish Argentinian news outlet, Milei said his fascination with Judaism began when he was teaching economics to an observant Jewish student. He was intrigued by the profound questions that the student posed, and upon investigation he realized they stemmed from the classic Talmudic method of electing fresh inquiries.
Why is there such a frenzy to buy up the properties that were just burned down during the fires in Hawaii? You can imagine calling up a family that has just seen their home burned to the ground and offering to buy their land for below market value. This is apparently happening in Hawaii right now on a massive scale. Grieving property owners are being bombarded with calls from very greedy people, and I think that says a lot about the current state of our society. We literally worship material possessions and financial gain, and the sheer greed that we are witnessing at this moment is absolutely staggering.
Interesting. India, China agreed to resolve remaining issues among LAC. How do you say that? Expeditiously. Again, just say India and China. I don't know why it does that. The 19th round of India-China Corps commander level meeting was held at Chusolmoldo border meeting point on the Indian side on August 13th to 14th, it said. It was for the first time that the high-level military talks on the lingering border row spanned 2 days. I don't care.
North Korea says Travis King wants refuge from mistreatment in U.S. Army. North Korea has said that Travis King confessed to crossing into the North because of inhuman maltreatment and radical racial discrimination within the U.S. Army, the state media reported on Wednesday, the first public acknowledgement of the incident by Pyongyang. Anyways, that is all. Thank you for listening to Mia
and Maya. Read the Pulitzer Central homepage. Do all the good things.
And come back tomorrow for more segregated news.